Welcome to the Journey 2020. I'm Charles Morris. Happy to be here with you on this Monday, where we come to you every Monday at 7 p.m. right here at www.thejourney2020.com. We're also on Twitter, Periscope, and Facebook. A wonderful place to be. We also ask that you subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like button on Facebook. Would appreciate that. And as you know, this is the third Monday, so you know who's up and coming. And it's someone who I have a nickname for, but that means absolutely nothing right now, right? Remember the fourth Monday of every month we have Keith Nkrumah from Young Fathers of Central Florida. He does an outstanding job with many of young men who's trying to grow into better understand their role as a father. Certainly beyond the myth and people and who they think they are. The very accomplished program. And so make sure that you tune into the fourth Monday, because he talks about child custody and a few other things that I think is very important to our listening and viewing audience. So check out Keith Nkrumah on the fourth Monday of every month right here at www.thejourney2020.com, Periscope, Twitter, and Facebook. Which brings us up to today's show, in which we always look forward to someone who I have a nickname for. That is Kathy, Dr. Meeks. She is from Robertson Associates. She is our family therapist. She's our sex therapist, and we have a lot of fun. We talk about a lot of fun things and sometimes some serious stuff. So you make sure that you hit us up today. We're looking forward to some comments and questions from you. Right here on the Journey 2020. So she has no idea what the nickname is that I have for her, and want to say welcome to the Journey 2020, Dr. Meeks. But this is the wonderful, yeah. I got a nickname for you, right?
So how come I don't know what that is?
Well, that's because I mentally I got to. But anyway, this is Kathy, Dr. Meeks. Dr. Kathy Meeks, I should say. She is a family therapist, a family sex therapist, right? Sex
I would
therapist,
say
but you also is a family therapist, right? Yeah, right. I want to make
marriage
sure,
and
because
family therapist.
we want to throw all that other stuff out and just put the sex in there, because that's just more appealing
Well,
by nature.
let's start out with marriage and family therapist,
Okay, there you go.
board
That's what I was trying
certified
to say.
sex therapist.
Okay. Okay. But we just throw all that out. That's what I'm saying. So people really pay attention when we say the sex therapist. So that's
Hmm.
what we like to hear. And
Because everybody wants to talk about sex, huh?
you tell me.
I don't know.
it's always a it's always a lighthearted and subject. It's always a fun subject, but I can remember, and let me ask you, since this is your field, what is the statistic? And I'm trying to remember about how many times a day a man think about sex. Do you remember that statistic? It used to be just a broad statistic that is certain many, like 1,000 times a day a man think about sex. Remember that statistic?
And I don't want to misquote anything because we may have, I really don't remember, but I just know that man thinks about it far more than women.
I wonder about that. I don't know.
I can't think about it, but I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, especially when we're younger, and probably when we're
Hmm.
older too. But which always correlate to a show within a show. Now,
Hmm.
for those who are watching the show, I really love getting the feedback, and I want to introduce you to a friend of mine that I've been knowing, and I told her that I want to introduce you to, because she is a life coach, and a lot of the work that she does through her ministry, through her church as well. And
Hmm.
been knowing her for a very long time. And recently I
Okay.
found out that she moved back to Florida, because she had been gone for a long time, and she'd been back for 3 years, and I did not know this. And I'm like, why are you acting like you owe me money? It's just like like you've been back here 3 years, and I'm just finding out. So, but anyway, I found out that she is a family coach. I mean, family life coach or something like that. And she watched a few of the shows, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so intrigued. I love her. She is so cool." I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." Well, but would love for the two of you to come on the show together because I have a meeting. Because I love talking to women. Because see, once you figure out that
You
our
should.
worlds
You
are
should.
different, our processes are different. Because some people never figure it out. I'm serious. Some people don't understand our processes are totally different. Mars, Venus, that type of thing.
Mhm.
And so I think a lot of times in life, you try to give me your stuff, and then I try to give you my stuff, and it doesn't fit in the box, and then we act like we don't know. Well, we can't figure out like why you act like this because you're trying to give me your stuff, and you want me to
Mm.
respond the way you respond, and it's just like you give me some food and you want me to taste it, and it's supposed to taste to me like it tastes to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. But can I respond to that question? Because I cheated and I Googled, and every time I see this number, it's just staggering to me. It
Okay.
says that men think about sex 8,000 times per day. 8,000, 56,000 times per week. That number is staggering because I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, with so many things going on in the world, I cannot fully grasp that. And
Right.
I don't believe that because that just seems,
Really?
I just can't, yeah, 8,000 times per day. I don't know,
Really?
man.
I'm,
I
I'm,
have difficulty
hey,
grasping
Kathy, I'm,
that.
I'm thinking like 9 million. So it's only 8,000. Really?
It's only 8,000, 56,000, and if you ask me next week, I'm going to forget it because it's not something that I want to really remember because I'm thinking to myself, there are so many other things that women think about. That number is staggering. It's mind blowing.
But
So I
see,
don't know if I
but
necessarily
see,
believe it.
but that's what I mean by how our
Hmm.
processes are different.
Hmm.
Okay, and
Yeah.
that's what I mean. And so when you try to explain certain things, when it comes to just how a man is, a lot of women don't want to believe it. Just like you didn't want to believe that statistic. And now, to me,
You
that's
know,
not surprising at all. I'm surprised it's
yeah.
not higher. But anyway,
Yes,
let me say this right here. The show today, people, and I'm looking for feedback. So you got to give me some feedback, ladies. I'm looking for the ladies. I mean, guys too. If you want to, leave a comment or ask a question, something like that, you can. But I'm looking for feedback for women because of what I just said. To me, we're supposed to be talking about intimacy today, but I want to ask you a question. We may or may not get to the intimacy. That may be next week. I mean, next show. But we may get to it. But I was just sitting here thinking about a question I wanted to ask you that came to me this morning. And my
mhm,
question that I want to ask you as a woman, because that's why I want the women to leave the comments, because I always learn something.
mhm.
And this is my question: with what you do, why do women think that what's between your legs can change me? What's between your legs is gonna make me be a certain person? Why you
I
think
don't even
because
understand.
of who you are and what you got makes you so special that it is going to make me be something that you want me to be? So I'm asking as a woman and how you process that, and how all of a sudden, like, let's, okay, I'm gonna put it like this right here. Okay, if I'm Michael Jordan, right, and I'm
Mhm.
just using him as an example, and he has his wife, and his wife has talked about how these women just so boldly just kind of like just push her out the way. Excuse me, I know you Michael Jordan's wife, but you need to just move out the way. I need to talk with Michael for a minute. Okay, so
Mhm.
how do you think who you are and what you got gonna make Michael go, you know what, honey? Yeah, I need to leave my wife for you.
You know, that is so, I don't even know how I should answer that because I don't think like that. As a woman, I don't think like that. And I hope majority of women are not thinking like that because it's not just what we have between our legs we're taking to the table. It's the
But
full package.
no, Kathy. Come on now. Come on.
I'm
You
sorry, I just think differently.
no. Come on, Kathy. Come on. I mean, you don't think like that. You don't and I'm asking you, know what? This is the question I need to ask them. In your practice and what you have
Mhm.
found out, you don't find that that's the theory and the mindset of people that sit in front of you with their issues and they come to you looking and talking about relationships, and a lot of time it doesn't go back to their mindset to think that this is, they think, the key to open the door to their happiness and their joy. You don't find that they don't think that way.
You know something, I have to say in my practice, even though we're talking about sex, I'm trying to help people to develop to have a truly satisfying sexual relationship and sometimes sexual encounter, so to speak. And what I'm teaching women in general is that they should know what their currency is. And it goes beyond just what's between their legs. I'm sorry. I
No.
can't subscribe to that thinking.
No. See,
I
you,
really, really cannot
Kathy,
subscribe to that thinking.
Kathy, you're not listening to the question. You're not listening to the
Okay.
question. Okay? We get
Hmm.
that that's what they should be doing. That's not what I'm
Hmm.
asking you, because they're coming to you and you're helping them to have a different perspective. But my question that I'm not saying that's what it's supposed to be. But I'm asking, do you find that in your practice that that's their mindset, to think that what they have between their legs is the key to the answer to make me want to look at them a certain way, love them a certain way, and all of this, which is, I'm going to make a comment on that. But my question is, do you find that to be the mindset? I'm not saying that's what
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
should
yeah, yeah,
be.
yeah, 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 yeah. And I understand what you're saying. And I understand the mindset of some women who really do believe that because a man is sleeping with them, it's going to influence them to do whatever they want. But you're asking me specifically about my practice. The women that I see and the men who are coming to me,
Mm-hmm.
they are looking, they're having issues with their sexuality, or they're trying to enhance their sexuality, or they're having issues in their relationship. So
Okay.
my role with them is actually to help them to be the best that they can be, not just in the sex department, but as a whole. But I
Okay. Well,
understand your question in
okay. Well,
general, but I'm taking that you're asking me the people that I encounter in my practice.
okay. Then let me back it up.
So,
Okay.
I'm just answering the
No, no,
people
no,
that
no,
I'm
no, 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 no,
encountering
no,
is
no,
not
no, no,
just
no.
about
Then
what they have
let
between
me
their legs.
okay, let me back it up. Let me back it up
Mm-hmm.
and ask in a different way. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
When you was coming up and you and your
Uh-huh.
girlfriends and
Uh-huh.
y'all and you're having this conversation about the boyfriends and who they going out with, did you find that some of your girlfriends in the circle are coming up during the years, did was that their mindset? Are are the ones that you know, and I'm speaking to the ladies out there because I'm pretty sure I'm not talking to the guys right now. The the ladies who have friends who think
Mm-hmm.
that what they have is the bomb and they can get any man, and if they get them, I got them.
Who-
Was there any
Well,
women like that in your circle growing up?
well, I tell you what, the women in my circle or the friends that I have, we have high self-esteem. We know what our currency is. So when we engage with a man, of course we're expecting their best.
Okay, I'm confused
We are
now. When you say
expecting that once they encounter us,
okay,
then they are no longer looking at anybody else. Because what I'm trying to tell you is that I'm not saying that some women do not have that mindset, but you're asking me about my personal experience. So let me back up and tell you why I personally do not subscribe to that thought process. And
okay,
the people that I associate with, they do not subscribe to that thought process because of the way I was raised.
right. I got that.
I was not raised to make sex is the fulfillment in a relationship. So that simply means that there are several things that came before the sex. So when they meet us, we're expecting we, at least my friends, we expect them to know the full package. And yes, we think we are the cat's pajama, we have it going on. So we are expecting that once they encounter the full essence of who we are, then they're not supposed to be looking at anybody else
Well,
because our sex is the
hold on,
best.
wait a minute.
Just
See,
being with us is enhancing their life, so they should not be looking at anybody else. Does that
well,
answer your question?
see, yeah, but see, every time you say that, it's like you sticking me with pins and needles.
Well, I want to stick you so that it
No,
elicits a
what I'm
change
saying
in
is, wait a minute,
thought.
Cat. Oh, oh, okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be
yeah,
real
yeah,
with you.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, what you just said to me as a man. Remember I tell you about how our processes are different.
Mm-hmm.
What you just said to me really makes no sense, but that's okay because I'm a man. Now, when you say, let me see, what's the best way I can put this? When you say, look at nobody else, I don't even know how
Mm-hmm.
that's even possible, but I don't know
Well,
to what degree are you talking about? Because
okay, so
because I
can
can
I
take that in
clarify it?
I can take that in so many ways. But
Okay.
let me say this right here to you. And please, women, please understand what I'm going to say to you because women don't understand this what I'm about to say. It is unnatural for me not to look at somebody else. It is unnatural for me not to be attracted to somebody else. That's not possible. Okay? That's not possible because we're not made like that. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if somebody walks in the room and they look good and I'm going like, whoa. Now, the difference is there's going to always be somebody that you see that you go like, whoa, and you're stimulated. The difference, the difference is how I respond to it. Because the things that I think and the things that may go through my mind, no one will ever know what that is. The
Mm-hmm.
difference is what women don't understand is not what you think, is who I am morally. Because those things will never, ever go away unless I'm
Mm-hmm.
comatose, unless you're dating somebody that's, you know. So my desire in the things that I may want to do, I don't do them because of who I am morally. Now, that's the question. Because a lot of women don't understand who they're dating or who they married to morally. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
question of what women take it to, because you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
always be stimulated by something that you're attracted to. But it's how I respond is what makes the difference. Because there's plenty of thoughts that go through my mind. I may walk past a bank and go, man, I wouldn't mind robbing that bank today. I may think about it, but that don't mean I'm gonna go rob it. You know what? I'm just giving you an example. So there's plenty
Mm-hmm.
things that run through my mind, or there's plenty dreams or thoughts or fantasies and ideas that's always there, just like the 8,000 times a day. There's always that. So when you sitting there, like I give you an example. Okay, all right. I want you to think about this. This is a typical thing that a woman would never think about this, right? And this is for real. Okay, the movie Wonder Woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now women don't know the movie Wonder Woman when she came out. I mean, when the movie came out, I can't tell you how many men were sitting there with their wives or girlfriends sitting there watching that movie because the person that they picked out to play Wonder Woman in that movie, she kind of like fit the character. She comes across the screen, is very sexy, this and that. Now, as a man, I'm sitting there, and I can be sitting there with my wife or whoever, it doesn't matter. That man sitting there going like, that's Wonder Woman. And I wonder what's really wonder in that woman. Because she Wonder Woman. So now a man fantasy like, well, what's really that Amazon, what is that really like? Because he's sitting there looking at, is Wonder Woman really Wonder Woman? And she Wonder Woman in what kind of way? That's just my nature. And it has nothing to do with her. So my fantasy is to sit there and try to figure out like, well, what's really wonder in that Wonder Woman? I wonder if my wife could be like that Wonder Woman, if my wife has the same wonder in the Wonder Woman. But that's just how we are. And it has nothing to do with whether or not I love my wife, how I feel about her. Nothing like that's just the nature of me sitting there going, looking at this gorgeous woman. And it's really not about her. It's about that character of this Amazon woman who is supposed to be so magnificent and this and that and the whole thing of her super whatever it is. So she's super, huh? Wow, okay. I wonder what she like over here, this and that. That's just how we process stuff. That's part of that 8,000 such and something, something. So as we sitting there watching this movie, she'll never know. Just like there could be a guy on the screen the same, because you could be sitting there thinking the same thing about Superman. You know what I'm saying? So,
Exactly.
right. So when you sitting there and this woman who looks very good, by the way, and she perfect person for the part, and she comes across and be like, man, I wouldn't mind hooking up with Wonder Woman. She can lasso me with that lasso. Ooh, I wonder what she'll make me do. So, and what women would take it personal, and they shouldn't, because that's the stimulation in which keeps me wanting to be with you. The whole process of being stimulated, it's stimulation. It's how I respond is what makes the difference between one individual and another, because there's nothing you can do about the way God made me in the sense of I respond to what I see. I cannot not
And,
respond. I cannot not be stimulated. I cannot
and
unless I'm dead. It's how
okay.
I respond to it. I'm going to be stimulated. But now if I take it and and it's so obvious that it's disrespectful, that's something different. But I'm talking about as a human being on this earth, I'm sitting there looking at something, I respond to it. You may never know to the degree of like, whoa, dang. I can't say that like, I can't say what I'm really thinking, but there's a lot of things you think that you would never share with anybody. It's kind of like when I talk, when my pastor say, when you open up and you want to just share certain things in your prayers, certain people can't hear your prayers. Because they'll be like, no, we can't go hang out with this person. Because that's between you and God. Because only you know your stuff. And so
Right,
you
right.
can't be, well, why you looking, you upset with me because I'm a human being? I'm not going to be upset with you because you're a human being and you see some nice looking guy walk in and you go, well, I mean, it's the same thing because you're a human being. It's stupid and ignorant of me to think that you look at me and I'm the only guy that you like looking at. That's crazy. That's not even humanly possible.
You know something, Charles, and I used that term when I say they shouldn't be looking at another woman. I used it very loosely, and for that I do apologize. What I meant, what I should have said is that we're hoping that once they meet us and they are with us, they're not looking to be with another female to sleep with them.
Right.
That's
But Kathy,
that's what I meant. So let me clarify that. But can I just finish this thought? We understand that men are visual beings. And I don't think most women or I would say, let me not use the word most, let me be very careful. some women are not thinking that their men will not look at another woman, because we as women, we look at other men too, and we admire them, and we think that they are sexy, we think they're hot, we do. And I
But
do understand that men do that more so than women. What we're hoping is that they look and they're respectful to us by not gawking, and they're not going to disrespect us, and they're not going to take it to another level where they start sleeping with them and they start cheating on us. Does that
well,
make sense?
no, no, no,
Because
no,
I look at
Kathy,
hot
No,
guys
no,
all the
no,
time.
no, Kathy. I actually understood that, and I thought that's what you meant. But the
Okay,
reason
good.
why I went to where I went to is because they're not. I wasn't really addressing you for. I'm talking about, and the reason why, because I wanted to ask in your again, your circle, your friends coming up, because there are a lot of women that are like that. I wasn't necessarily saying about you,
Mhm.
but there's
Mm,
there's
yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
an issue in our culture, in our society, because there are a lot of people that really think that because we're
I
together,
agree.
then all of a sudden I'm supposed to be, a zombie. That I'm supposed to stop being a human being. And it
You're
works
right.
both ways. Because there's guys who
Mhm.
think, you know, you my woman. So therefore you supposed to just all your brain cells just supposed to go away and it's just supposed to be about
Mhm.
me. Because there are people
I
just that
know.
ignorant, just that insecure. It's
Insecure.
crazy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
You
you said it. You said it correctly. It's stemming from insecurity, either on the part or of the man or the woman, because it's just stupid. It's just ridiculous to think that a man or a woman is not going to find somebody else attractive unless they're dead. But what we are expecting is that, or the majority of women are expecting, is that their men, will be faithful to them,
okay, well,
because
let me
we're looking for a monogamous relationship. If you have that understanding that you're not going to be in a monogamous relationship, then by all means, look, gawk, sleep, screw, who cares? But if it's a monogamous relationship, and that's why at the outset people need to set boundaries in their relationship, because in some relationships, that is okay.
well,
But if it's a monogamous relationship, then that's what we are expecting. Look, be respectful, and do not take it to that level.
good good luck with that. Um,
Okay. So then,
no,
are you?
let, let me say this to you,
Because what's good
and
for the goose is good for the gander.
well, let me say, let me see. There's so much that I could say, Kathy, and
Say it, because we
but
want
but
to
but
hear how
but
you
but,
men are
but people
twisted,
people are not
how
real.
you men think.
No, 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 because people are not real. They're not real,
Yeah.
and we don't know how to live life. And I say we, I'm talking in general, for a lot of us to know how to approach life and say life is not about me. So
Mm-hmm.
everything evolves around you. I'm talking about the individual. When I, if you choose me,
Mm-hmm.
then I was born. When the doctor hit me, boom, and I went Wah! Right. I came out the womb. This is I'm talking about the mindset, and I'm saying both ways now, men and women. And I'm supposed to know how to love you. I'm supposed to know how to treat you right. I'm supposed to know how to be Mr. Do Right, Miss Do Right, Miss Be All. Now, that's not even close to the reality of what life and what love is. But that's how we
True.
act. So it's like nobody wants the true testimony of the growth because that's what life is. And I'm pretty sure in your practice and your therapy that you have to teach people that a lot of times we have to teach people to know how to love. We have to teach people to know how to be in a relationship because one, I only know what I know. And I also, if I've never seen it, and a lot of times I can't associate it with. Now, I got feelings and emotions. I got an idea of what I desire. I've been told about certain things when it comes to relationship. I've been told and I've seen and I've learned things mostly from the movies of being out there on the streets and just learning on my own. But I have seen a lot of things in which I have embedded into my own self that is so dysfunctional in my house. I'm thinking that's normal. That's how it's supposed to be. So there's so many things that you have to unlearn to
Mm-hmm.
get to where it's almost like the things that you have learned. And this is what I mean, Kath. You're trying to do right, right? So you're trying to do right, and I'm speaking as a man. And so this is what you know. But it's not working out. Then finally life starts to teach you some of the true essence of the truth of life. So now you go like, oh, now this is an old moment because now you're saying, oh, oh, that was wrong. Oh, so now I got to unlearn. So now I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
learn because there are people that are trying to do that because there's stages of life. Because when I look
True.
at myself, Kathy, when when I was 20 years old, right? And how I saw the world when I was 20, and not that I was a bad guy, but I was 20 years old. And if I'm only 20 years old, I only know what a 20-year-old know. And if I'm 25, I only know what a 25-year-old know. And so when I
You know
think back to,
something? Mhm. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Finish your
so,
thought.
and I'm being the best I know how to be. But that's what life is supposed to be because we have reached a point in our culture, in our society, where we have gotten so far away of the purpose of life, the lessons of life, that it's so all about us. And even when the mistakes are made, and when I can even acknowledge my mistakes, it's still not good enough because how dare. And so I just think that when you don't understand that you go through your life lessons, you not, because I guarantee you, Kathy, and I've said this on the show before, there are some girls that I have dated that I've been associated with, and I had to learn that I dated them because at the time I didn't know I was dating them. I've learned over the years that I've dated, I had no idea. But
You
there's
were
girls
just
that
hooking
that,
up. You thought
that
you
I've
were
been
just hooking
associated
up.
with, huh?
You thought you were just hooking up, huh?
I mean, just hanging out. But later
Yeah.
on, when I understood the mindset of women and how they think, I don't, when they, because I said this on the show. I've been in a conversation, how you go back home and you talk with friends are around, and they say, well, when I dated Charles, and I'm like, and I'm serious. A few times I've been caught off guard because, when I dated Charles, and I'm looking like, when did we date? We used to hang out. But I learned to them we were dating. But I had to learn that. I had no idea we were dating. And so my point of what I'm trying to say is that there's not one woman ever in my life that I have came and introduced myself and said, hey, how you doing? My name is Charles. I'm here to hurt you. I'm here because I have bad intentions. I'm here because you know what? I really just want to jack things up. I've never purposely done anything to hurt anybody. But if you go talk to some people, they go like, well, yeah, he really hurt me. Or, something to that. I'm trying to give you an example of something. I
Can
didn't
I jump
purposely
in here
do it.
and say
It's
something?
called
Can I
life.
jump in? Can I jump in and say something though?
Yes, please
Listen,
do. Yeah.
as long as you're in a relationship, and it doesn't matter the kind of relationship, as long as you're interacting with another human being, there's likely to be hurt. And it's because people are coming from different backgrounds and you don't know everything about the other person. So you can do something that unintentionally hurt the person. That's
Right.
number one. I like what you said about life, it goes in stages, because a man doesn't come out of the womb, or a baby does not come out of the womb and know how to treat a woman. That's not something that's automatic. That's a learned behavior.
Both
Many
ways.
of the things, yeah, both ways. So therefore, it's the responsibility is on both the man and the woman to know what they're looking for in each other And like I said, establish those boundaries and then select the person that you want to be with. Because if you're just jumping around and you're not thinking, well, what is this person expecting from me? Just like you said that you were in relationships with women and you didn't even know, you thought you were just hanging out. Different values, different perspective coming together, and nobody knows what the expectations are.
I had no, I had none, zero, zilch, you know, but
But yet the woman had the
yeah,
expectation. So it's, so I have to say this. And women sometimes do not know their currency. They think that because a man smiles at them and talk to them and, they ultimately get into bed, that constitutes a relationship. No, you have to know your currency and know what you're looking for, and then make that clear to the person. When you do that, then there is less chance of that person hurting you.
yeah,
If it's a one night stand you're looking, that's fine. Both parties need to be on the same page. This is a one night stand. We're just going to hook up. This is no relationship. But
but
people are not making their intentions clear because
but
they don't
Kathy,
know
let
how
me let
to.
me let me say this right here, and you may agree, the women may agree, you know, and again, I'm looking for the feedback from the ladies out there. Can you give us some feedback? But again, a lot of the things that took place, you do them because you think this is what you're supposed to do. You know, I chase you because I think, I mean, if I see you, I like you, right? Because I've never had a one night stand. I just never met, I've
Mhm,
just never, boom, that wasn't my, I won't get into that, but that just wasn't me in that sense.
mhm.
There's girls that, I don't want to go there, but there are girls that I could have been with that I didn't. There's so much that I could just, I mean, that I want to say, but I
Get
didn't. I
into
just,
it, brother. Let it. You have a
no, no,
lot
no,
on your
no, no,
heart.
but no, no,
Now is
no,
the
and
time to just
no,
let
no,
it
but
out.
no, no, but what I mean about us as human beings, and like for an example, and I hope that I can say this correctly,
Mhm.
and I don't think that I can, because we are a culture that we label and we like to think a certain way. And let me see if I can say this correctly. The way God made us,
Mhm.
by nature, and who I am and who you are by nature.
By the
When
way,
I
God made us to be rational beings. We have a responsibility to strive to be the best that we can be because we are made in the image of God. And God is a rational God. So we are made in his image. So we can no longer use the excuse to say, I just went with my feelings. Well, if we're
but so
just
hold on, wait a
functioning
minute. But
off
see, no, no,
feelings,
no,
then we are
no,
not
no,
evolving as human
no.
beings.
Right? Well, you can say that, Kathy, but
Mhm.
the key word is evolving. But a lot of times when I speak, and I'm leaving a lot out that is not understood, and that is every time that I have a conversation, even though it's not being said, I always come from the spirit in which we were created, in the spirit of the intent. So, because they are good, spirits of good intentions, they are spirits of not so good intentions. Okay? And
Mhm.
so, if you don't understand that first, because there are certain spirits, like for an example, okay, let me switch it up a little bit. And people don't understand this. Okay? There are spirits, there are spirits that is
Mhm.
intentional to make sure that I stay in that stage of selfishness, greed, all about me. I want what I want. Why you not doing what I want you to? Why you not doing what I'm telling you to do? That spirit
Mhm.
of arrogance, that spirit of evilness, that in its different levels. And so, but through all of that, in which I'm born selfish, I'm born arrogant, I'm born all these things in which that certain spirit is in all of us. But to what degree is what separates us in our personality. But it's there. And so as we evolve, there's a certain spirit that don't want me to evolve into that in which God intended us to be. And so as long as you, if that spirit stays strong into that arrogance, that spirit of self, that narcissist type arrogance of evolving more into yourself, because that's what our culture has evolved into more and more. And in your therapy and in your sessions, I'm pretty sure that's what you deal with most of the time. When years ago, we were not so selfish among ourselves. So I'm trying to evolve into what God wants me to be. And so if I stay in that area of not evolving into just myself, then that spirit will continue to be strong in me. And so that's what you see a lot of times, because as I speak about the different stages of life, you learn because you're thinking, because there's things I did when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, because I thought that was um, I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And so as you learn in life, you be like, man, and I told you on this show, I don't know if you remember, but there are people that I had to find them, Kathy. I had to find them and say, I'm sorry. Because I didn't know I realized that I was wrong. And I think there's two people that I've been trying to contact and get in touch with now for about 5, 6, 7 years. About 2 or 3 people that I'm still trying to find to say, I apologize to you because I'm sorry that I hurt you. And I had no idea that at the time, this is what I was doing. And when you think about it, you'd be like, wow, man. But that's where I was in my life. So not that I'm some saint, not that I'm trying to be some righteous person, but when you learn, and that's what I mean about people not truly understanding and not having patience and not doing and looking towards the true essence of what God wants them to be. Because when something happens and as well as, you did me wrong, you did me wrong, they don't have something that can, the guide, the something to help them deal with the storm. So when the storm comes and when the storm it goes away, where are you grounded? Are you angry? Are you able to deal with the storm? Did the storm make you better, or did the storm push you over in the corner and you angry now? Versus coming together and understand we just grew from this. I just learned something from this. Am I making sense?
You are making sense. And I know you're very religious, and the Bible does say that when we are a child, we act like a child, but then we grow up and we put away foolish things. And that's pretty much what you're saying. Yes, we do grow and we do develop morally. There are things that a 6 year old, when they're 6 year old, that behavior is appropriate. When they're 10, that behavior is no longer appropriate. So as we grow up, we should be able to assimilate that new behavior into our being so that ultimately we behave differently and we become better people. So I
Yes.
get what you're saying. When we're a child, when we don't know better, we act like a child. We act like a 2 year old. But it's no longer appropriate to be acting like a 2 year old when you're 10. The same way when you're 19 years old and you will act a certain way based on your social moral development. But when you get to be 30, you should no longer be acting that way. So that's life. That's part of the process. A person cannot give what they don't have. So
Right.
when you're
Exactly.
16 and you're acting a certain way, that's how you're developing. That's your stage of life. That behavior is appropriate for that stage of life.
Right. And
But
right. And then what I was trying to say is this, and when I was trying to say, I don't know if I can say it correctly, and that is that I'm a man first and you a woman first. And so when I meet you, Um, man, and I know I can't say it right, but when I meet you, Kathy, I don't see Dr. Meeks. I don't see where you live. I don't see the car you drive. I don't
Mm-hmm.
see the money in your bank. None of that
Mm-hmm.
has to do with the fact that when I first meet you,
And it
I'm a,
shouldn't.
no, but what I'm saying, people don't understand that. People don't
Yeah.
understand that when I first meet you, none of that has nothing to do with anything but other than I'm standing in front of a woman and I'm a man. Hey, how you doing? Now,
Mm-hmm.
as you speak, and then now all of this other stuff comes into play of what I just said. But when I first meet you, here's a woman, I'm a man, and that's everybody in the sense of
Of course.
right. But now we get to this other stuff. So my
Mm-hmm.
response to you is how God intended us to be. Here's a man, here's a woman. Hey, how you doing? And so now as we get to know each other, all this other stuff comes into play. But it'll never be I mean, that's just like when I try to explain to women all the time. I said when a guy comes up to you and asks you, hey, for your phone number, asks you, he's already had sex with you. That's just the way it works. It's not
Yes,
a
mine.
bad
Mm-hmm.
thing. That's why I'm not coming up to you because your purse is cute. I'm not coming up to you because your lipstick is matching your shoes. I'm coming up to you because I'm attracted to you and I've already had you know, the fantasy. I'm already, it's already has taken place. So,
Yeah, and you know something, that's a very good point. And I hope, people would just approach each other that way because when we meet someone, it's not about their bank account, it's not about their purse, it's not about any of that. First of all, it's a man and a woman. Let me get to know the essence of who you are. I don't care about the bank account. I don't care about the position. I want to know how you represent yourself. All that is very important. Or more important, first, you're a man. Yeah. You're attractive. Yeah. I'm attracted to you. I want to know your heart. Let me know the other things. Those are externals.
mhm.
The bank account, the work, all that stuff, those are externals. And I hope we all can get, as a people, can get to the point where we connect with the person. Man, man, woman. Who are you? Let me know your qualities. Let me know if you are someone that I want to know more intimately.
But Kathy, everything you just said, I think for a lot of women, and I'm just guessing. Now, I could be wrong. I'm just guessing from my experience. It comes later, not early. That's later. That's after you as a woman matured. Because I still think, from my experience, a lot of times, and we really didn't really talk about what I want to talk about because that's okay. Because
That's
no,
yeah.
because we we always get to some important stuff. Because I originally
Mhm.
wanted to talk about what you
Intimacy.
just said because what I was trying to say is that because a lot of times women think it's you think
Mhm.
that's it
It's
and
the nice six pack
that
and
that
all
that
that.
and I'll
Yeah.
be like no, and then like I try to explain to women, like certain women, well you try to because women, some, like when I say this, they don't understand it whatsoever. I said when you got it. Now when I say this, guys know what I'm talking about, women don't. When you got it, you
Well,
got it.
some women don't. Yeah.
Okay. Right,
Yeah,
right,
some
right.
women
When
don't.
no, when and now I'm talking about the guy thing. Now I'm talking about that's what I mean. I'm talking about the guy thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you got it, you got it. So when God
Mm-hmm.
bless you with she got it, she could walk in. The hair could be this way, that way, and I'm not talking about a weave. Now I'm just talking. Um,
The natural.
yeah, I mean I'm just saying that and she could have on a holy T-shirt and a pair of workout pants, and she could be the sexiest thing in the world because she got it.
You got
God
it.
gave it to her. And women think,
Hmm.
oh, you got to do. No, 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 no. When that sister
I
sexy,
agree.
that sister just got it. You know, and women
She's
would hate
got
on that.
it.
No, if she got it, she got it. She don't need no makeup. She banned. So it'd be like, oh, because women think it, no. There's some people that just got it like that. And so when she got
Hmm.
it like that, be like, no, that sister don't need to do nothing but just walk in the room. Because there are certain women, as God is my witness, you could be sitting there doing what you're doing, a woman walk in the room, whoa. It's just like the sun.
Whoa.
Yeah, like the ceiling opened up, the sun just came in, boom, you be like, whoa. And that's just the way it is. And I'm saying this so and I want women to understand that it's not a negative on anything. It's just that when that's just the way it is, and especially if it's somebody that appeals to you in a certain way. So I say that intimately to the camera because that's just the way it is. And so a lot of people hate on that. I got a friend who was telling me about let me let me see if I can say this nicely. And you might be because see, there's some women that can relate to this. All right? There's some women that can relate to this. Let's just say there's a women of 3 or 4, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So out of the women of 3 or 4, and we'll just call them the pack. All right. So in the pack,
Uh-huh.
there's like between 3 and 4 women. And
Uh-huh.
out of the 3 or 4, there's usually, not usually, on occasion, there's one that's just not so attractive.
Right,
Right?
right.
Right. So now when they go out and they go to the club, all the guys trying to talk to the others, but not necessarily to the one that's not so attractive. Now I would
Hmm.
love to have a round table of those of the pack. And then they talk about what's that like because the one that's not so attractive is usually the one that's a pain in the butt. That's usually the hater. And so she's usually
Yeah.
hating on them because the guys are going up to them and not her.
Hmm. Yeah.
And they making it seem
True.
like it's them and not her. So
Hmm.
that's kind of like a normal situation. But what do you do, ladies? Do you have that experience? Have you had that
Yeah,
experience? Have you had that
usually the
experience?
one who, yeah, you're right. Usually the one who is bitter is the one who is not getting the attention. A lot of times it's not even about the way the person looks, it's an attitude thing. And usually that's the one who is attacking everything about the others in the group and even the people who are coming up to them. But I have to say that sometimes it's not even just about appearance, sometimes it's about attitude.
True, true. Well, I mean, if you carry yourself a certain way, because again, a lot of women, because see, women are confused by men because of what women consider mixed signals.
Mm.
And I can be raw about some things, but that would be another show because, again, part of what I wanted to talk about was the how.
Intimacy.
Well, no, 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 no. That's the other show. What I want to talk
Okay.
about how women think that what between their legs is what's going to make me say this, make me be somebody that I'm not. And it's and sex is the attention getter.
Yeah.
There's certain, I mean, we said this on the show, and there's certain women that just do not understand this. Sex is the attention getter. It's gonna get you in the room. It's just not gonna keep you there.
Oh, yeah.
And they
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
understand
Yeah.
the part that's going like who you are as a person.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna kind of jump around a little bit here, but I'll say this, Kathy, because women don't understand this part. There are women that has been in my life that I've been intimate with, right?
Hmm.
And then there's women that's been in my life that I haven't been intimate with. Now, I still could have a good relationship with the ones over the years that certain thing happened years ago and we was intimate, right?
Hmm.
Now, there's certain
Right.
women that can call me at 3 o'clock in the morning and they may need a ride to or from the airport. And I haven't even been,
Mhm.
I haven't been intimate with them. There are certain women that still can call and they, argue, but there are certain women
Mhm.
that I've been
Yeah.
intimate with. They better not call me at no 3 o'clock in the morning asking for no ride to no airport.
Yeah.
They,
And why is that? Why is that?
it's just because of who they are.
Exactly.
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 So if you
And
think right, and if you think it's that, no, it's who you are as a person. And they don't,
mhm.
it doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It's just that my relationship and how I see them versus somebody that I'd be like, I can come and give a hug to anytime, that I look at and see a certain way and how they come across to me and how they touch my heart. Because you can be, we can have a certain, and you never touch my heart. And it's just a
Right.
physical
Yeah.
thing. And I could like that, but you never touch my heart. And I don't mean like in love. I'm talking about, I look at you and I be like, you know what? I can take you home to meet my mom. I can take you around to meet certain people. There's certain people that you can be hang out with and do certain things with. You will never take them around your people.
True.
Never.
That is true.
Ever.
Yeah.
but you good over here though. You good over here.
Yeah.
You good,
Hmm.
but you're like,
Yeah.
no, and there's certain people that you can go and you be like, well, you take them to McDonald's, right? You can take them to McDonald's. But then there's certain way you can take them to McDonald's and you can supersize it. You'll never supersize it with them. No. Get your Big
Hmm.
Mac and let's go.
Yeah. 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 You're right. You're right.
And they don't
And
understand it. They think just because you
yeah.
sexing them, no, it don't work like that. And they can't figure it out. And there's certain women, um, and maybe you can relate to this. I got a friend, especially when you get older. Okay,
Hmm.
with certain things that you figured out as I've talked about. So
Hmm.
he's going through a divorce, and I've experienced this myself. So women who've been knowing him for years, who knows that he's now going through the divorce, they're trying to talk to me because they always liked him, and I've
Hmm.
experienced this myself. So when you're going through such things, emotionally, and there's life, there's times when you really don't want to be bothered intimately, or you don't want that part. That's not what you need right now.
Right.
Kathy, there's
Right.
certain women that cannot talk with you and deal with you or know how to deal with you when they can't come at you any other way than their intimacy or trying to get you in bed. Now they don't know how
Yes.
to talk to you because you're not interested in that. Now they don't know
Hmm.
what to do.
Yeah.
They have no idea what to
Hmm.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because you really do have some women who think that sex is the most important thing. And if you're having sex with them, you are committed to them for the rest of your life, and you're not supposed to talk to anybody. Or that if you're not responding to them sexually, then something is wrong with you as a person, as a man.
No, know what I would like to cover maybe in the next show that I can that I can in addition to the intimacy. Know what I would
Hmm.
like to talk about?
What?
And no, I would like to ask you because actually, you know what? Maybe I can ask my friend I was telling you about the family coach. This would be a good show to have with two women. Like a
Okay.
menage a trois. Can we have a menage a trois?
Okay. Okay.
No, seriously. Um, and this, which is what I really wanted to ask, and I don't want you to answer, but I would like to have women to answer this question because me as a
Hmm.
guy, I get it, but this is what I
Hmm.
mean. Okay, I'm married, right? Now,
Hmm.
this has nothing to do with right or wrong. We already know this, but I'm married, right?
Hmm.
So you, I'm not you, but I'm saying you as a woman,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I
all
got
right,
you.
likes me, and we get together and we hook up, right?
Hmm.
So, but you look at, and I'm talking about the woman, look at
Hmm.
the wife like, I got your man, and because this took place over here, I got a piece of him, or there's something about him that is a disconnect from you. And so you
Mhm.
arrive that in your mind in thinking that you own him or a piece of him that has nothing to do
Mhm.
with any of that whatsoever. Period.
Mhm.
None. Zero. Zilch. To him is what I would like to talk about in his mind, who you are to him, versus because he's married, but you said, well, I got him to have sex with me. And so you're looking at the wife this way because now you think there's a piece of him you have in a certain way, which is the furthest thing from the truth. So I would like to ask women, like to have the two of you on to talk about the mindset, your opinion on that, and how a woman would see that. Now, I don't want you to answer that, but I would
I
like
wish if
to,
you would let me
huh?
answer that. I wish if you would let me answer that because
No,
that
no, no, no,
is
no, 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 no. That's another show. That's another show. But I would
okay.
love to have the two of you on, and I would love to get
Mhm.
feedback from our viewers and listeners because
That one is so easy.
no,
That
no, no,
one
no,
is
no,
so
right,
easy.
right. But Kathy, there are people, there's
But
women
that's a
out there.
good
No,
topic.
there's women out there that, that will stand there and proud and I got
Oh
him. I
yeah.
got him. I got him. I got him to
He's
break
going to
away from his
leave his
wife, and
wife.
da,
Yeah,
da,
he's
da,
going to leave his wife for me.
no,
Right, right, right.
no. But
Yeah.
see, I want to address that from the standpoint. I'm not talking about what's wrong or right. I'm talking about the mindset of
Said
what this
right.
woman think,
Yeah.
the position that she holds
Yeah.
because of the wife.
Hmm.
That's what I want to talk
Yeah.
about. Because
Okay.
of the
All right.
position she thinks she holds because of the wife.
Right.
Okay. Can we do that
All
too?
right. Yes, we can do that
Okay. Now,
because that can help a lot of women, and that can be empowering to the women who really sleep with these married men. So they really need to understand the dynamics of that.
okay. Um, okay, now before we get out of here, we got to tell
Yes.
and let people know. So you tell us how we can get in contact with you for your services and what you do. Let people know again what you do and how we can contact you.
I am a marriage and family therapist, board certified sex therapist. I deal with all the mood disorders and, of course, all the sexual issues. My office number, Robertson and Associates, office number 407-297-1185. My direct number is 407-719-0610.
Oh, all right. Well, cool. Well, it's always so exciting and stimulating. I can't wait to our menage a trois. I just can't
Okay,
wait.
Miss. All right. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, you know what? I think that you're gonna like Regina. That's her name.
Regina.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Also known as Lynn, A-K-A-N, A-K-A,
Okay.
Lynn. But yeah, I think that you would like her. She's pretty down to earth, and I think that would be a good conversation to have. Because I
Okay.
mean, I love getting feedback from women because we are just so different. It is just
Yes, we
amazing.
are.
It's amazing because I try to explain men are simple, simple. There's nothing complicated about a man. We just
And the
arrogant,
woman
we
is
egotistical,
complex.
we self-centered. Serve me, give me the remote, bring me my beer. Get out of the way, you blocking the game. What is your problem? What's so hard to understand about that? You need to sex me there. You need to do this here while you're here. What's the problem? What's the problem? And in
And,
reality,
and
if you do it and truly understand, you're the one that's running the house. You just don't know it.
yeah, we are
And
the
if you touch
boss.
me here, let me, if you touch me here, you can get anything you want. Anything you want. But unfortunately, so many of you have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Unfortunately. Because that's why God made me. And I'm only as good. Now, this is the key thing. If nothing else comes out of any conversation we ever have on this show, Please listen to this. I'm only
Mhm.
as good as your eyes see me. That's the
That
feedback
is
that I
true.
get. And if your
Mhm.
eyes see me a certain way, if you come across to me as a certain way because you the essence of my existence, and because I do what I do or don't do, it's because how you see me is how I see me. And it's
And the important thing to also add to that is men are more successful when they are able to accept influence from their woman.
that's what I just said.
Yeah.
That
But
that
let's just, well, that's
that's
what
what I
you
just
just
said.
said, but you said it in a different way. So
I
let me
know.
just
But
put
no,
it
I was
there
just
for the men
acknowledging.
to understand. Yeah,
You're right. I was just
because
acknowledging
men
that's what
need
I
to,
said because you
yeah,
said it in a
because
different way, but I wanted them to
exactly.
know that's what I just said. Because
Yeah.
they can't process it because everything's about them. And they don't
But
understand.
again, sometimes the men think that they are the be all and they know everything, and
But
they are not accepting
Kathy,
influence from their
Kathy,
woman.
Kathy,
Hmm.
Kathy, did I not just
Hmm.
say we're arrogant,
You you
we're
said it in a
egotistical?
different way.
Right.
So then I need to simplify it so the women can understand their role and the men can understand how important they are to their success.
And but see, the success in life comes from there's something that God put in me
Hmm.
that as a man that I need
Hmm.
more importantly from you than you can ever imagine. And there's see when I went back to
Respect.
earlier in the show when I said when I first meet you, you're a woman and I'm a man.
Hmm.
Through all of the success you may have,
Hmm.
man, okay. I'm I'm going to touch on this. We're going to go just a little bit long. I'm going to say this and then we're going to end the show. Okay? And I want you to
Hmm.
listen to what I'm going to say, Kathy. This is, I tease my aunt all the time. My aunt been married for 50, 51, 52 years, right? And she's
Hmm.
81 years old,
Wow.
right?
God bless her.
Right. And so, and actually I have another aunt that's 94. She was married for 64 years before my uncle passed away a few years ago. So they was married for, longer than I've been on this earth. But it's so funny because maybe I should just save it for next time. I mean, I was gonna say it, but well, my aunt say, well, my uncle knew what he was doing because I was a smart, he knew I was marrying he knew he had a smart woman. But the
Hmm.
flip side of that is this right here, Kathy, which has nothing to do with my aunt, but this is my point that I want to make to you.
Hmm.
Your academic ability, you can split an atom. You could
Hmm.
have a PhD 9, 10 times. That
Hmm.
has absolutely nothing to do with you knowing how to make a house or home. That has
You're
nothing to do with
absolutely
you
right.
knowing how to be in a relationship. That has nothing to do with you knowing how to raise your kids. That has nothing to do with establishing a meaningful relationship just because you academically able and you smart. I need you to be smart enough to know how to make a house or home. I need you smart enough to know when the do's and the don'ts, when to say something, when not to say something. And I don't mean it the way that it sounds because there's sometimes all of us need to be smart enough to know when to be quiet, need to keep your mouth
Hmm.
shut, and knowing how to say the
Hmm.
right things in the right way. So you can
Hmm.
be so academically able and you so smart. I just need you to be smart enough to know how to make a house a home and how to treat me as a man and how to raise the children, how to make this place that we live in a home. I don't know how smart you have to be to do that, but I tell a lot of my friends all the time, I say a crackhead can take your man. And they look at me like, huh? Yeah, she humble. So my mom, who didn't finish high school, was a great person and a great mom. She knew how to make a house a home and so on and so forth. But when you put yourself up there with, well, I finished this college, I went to this school. Yeah, but you have no idea how to be a wife. You have no idea how to be a mother. And so that's what I mean by when you smart. What the heck does that mean? So
You
anyway,
know something? You are absolutely right. And I think that's one of the reasons why we have so many women who are divorcing and are single because they subscribe to this belief, I'm a woman, hear me roar. I am more educated. And you do have more women who are finishing college than men. But what it is, they start seeing themselves as the head of the household, and they expect that they're not willing, and I'm using this word submission, and I don't want people to jump all over me for that, because the way some people talk about submission, that's not the way the Bible intended it.
exactly.
But there is no humility. So because of the education, and women are more and more women are earning more money than men, they think that they are smarter, and therefore they do not honor their men. The one thing that men are looking for is respect. And the Bible
Well,
tells us the
right.
woman
Well,
wants to feel loved and the man wants to be respected. So it's not about the education or the accomplishments.
right.
It's how
Well,
you are treating your man.
right. Well, I say this all the time, and it's true. Those women that you're making reference to, when they come and their accomplishment, the only person they can come home to is Fifi. Is either the cat or the dog. That's it. That's the only person they can come home to. I'm serious. The only person they can come home to is Fifi. It's either the cat or the dog, because that's the only one that can deal with them. It's just like, and unfortunately, when you don't like Kathy, one of the things that I knew about my grandmother, because see, life is and see that's what I keep saying. When I first meet you, I'm a man and you're a woman. And all that other stuff has nothing to do with nothing but what we bring to the table. My mother, I knew this for a fact. And my grandmother knew this. And I know this for a fact. No matter what their accomplishments were or who they may have become, they would have never said anything to put a man down and to challenge him as a man. Because that's like one of the biggest no-nos in the history of the creation of man. And if you a woman challenging a man in the sense of who he is and the money he makes and because you make and all that other stuff, all you doing is creating a hydrogen bomb because
Yeah.
your essence of your existence and your purpose, you're taking away everything. Remember what I was saying about when he sees your eyes and what he sees is the essence of my existence. And if you don't know how to deal with that or deal with it in a manner in which the last thing you should ever do is be out of position, because it has nothing to do with the car you drive, the house you live in, or anything like this. It's smart enough to understand how God intended it to be. So when you step out of line with that, that's why you can only come home to Fifi and nobody else. Because you think
And
it's
you know
about
something?
the school you went to, the car you drive, your paycheck, but you don't know how to make your
You,
house a home.
yeah, and again, there is another side to that, because I think sometimes people are not equally yoked. And when I say equally yoked, I'm not talking about just the religion. Sometimes, and it's not about the money either. But sometimes we have some of these men too who are deadbeats and they don't want to do what they're supposed to do. And the women marry them or get involved with them based on the externals
Yep.
without really getting to know the person. So let me just clarify. I'm talking really about the good brothers who may not be on the same level as the woman. I'm not talking about the deadbeats, because we got to be very careful with that. We have a lot of deadbeat men out there who are not doing what they're supposed to do as a man, and they expect their woman to carry the load. So let me just make that clear that I am aware that there are those men out there as well.
Well, that's a That's another show too, because I would love.
Yeah.
I'm serious. You know, put that in your notes because I would love to do a show just on that. I'm
Okay,
serious.
good.
Yeah.
And just so, you mentioned something about your aunt, and aunts who have been married for so long. The statistics show that people who are married, they have better sex and they live longer than the people who are not. So that's just something for our men and women to think about. They
Well,
enjoy better sex and they live longer.
I guess the question now is like, who are they having better sex with? But that's another show. No.
With each other.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Anyway,
Interesting.
this is the Journey 2020. This is the wonderful Dr. Kathy Meeks. She is our family sex therapist. Yay. where we come,
Yay!
where we come to you the third Monday of every month. And again, Dr. Meeks, your phone number?
407-719-0610.
And as you can see, we have a lot of
Office
fun here.
number, office
Okay.
number 407, office number 407-297-1185.
Okay. Well, as you can see, we have a lot of fun here, and we
We
try to keep it
do.
real. There's some things that
Yeah.
I sometimes want to get into. I have to catch myself. I have to catch myself because it's going into a whole nother thing. Because a lot of us don't like the truth, and our inability to deal
Yeah.
with the truth sometimes
Mhm.
is hard. And we actually believe that the world was created just for us. You know, it's
Mhm.
oh, but anyway, that's a whole nother show. Again, thank you so very much, Dr. Meeks. I always enjoy talking to you, and I can't wait for the menage a trois. Um,
All
I'm gonna
right.
gonna introduce you to Miss Regina so we can talk about that next month, and we're gonna have some
Okay.
fun. And again, we want comments, questions, uh, all of that. We want the feedback, and we'll get a chance to even talk more about that on the show as well. So thank you, Dr. Meeks.
It's a pleasure.
All right, we have a fun time with Dr. Meeks here on the Journey 2020. She comes to us on the third Monday of every month, And the thing is that I don't think, last weekend was Mother's Day, and I didn't get a chance to say Happy Mother's Day. And I apologize for that. And for those out there that I didn't give a shout out to, last Sunday was Happy Mother's Day. Blessings to you, and continuous blessings that you provide in the things that you do. What would the world be like if we didn't have mothers like you? This is the Journey 2020. I'm Charles Morris, and we so appreciate you coming on and joining us. We ask that you please make sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure that you hit that like button on Facebook. You can always email us for questions, comments, concerns uh, during the show. At any point in time, you can always text me if you would like to find out more, if you would like to come on the show, if you may know somebody, you may have a show idea, certainly would love to hear from you. And so with that being said, I want to say to you, thank you so very much for taking part. Thank you so much for joining us here on this Monday. Please enjoy the rest of your week. I'm Charles Morris.